I am a freshman here at Mizzou, and I am from Des Moines, Iowa, and most of you, or if you know me at least a little bit, you probably know that because I like to talk about Iowa a lot, and certain people in this room like to make fun of me for that, but anyway, if you want me to talk for 2 hours, ask me a question about Iowa. But as much as I love Iowa, I also love Missouri and this school, and I'm really excited to be up here in front of you guys today. So the theme of this semester has been the journey. And last week we began a new series called Journey Together. And Emily kicked us off with a discussion on love. And one of the things that she said that really struck me was, love is the glue that binds us together on this journey. So we're all walking our own individual faith journeys. And we may be at different points on this journey, but ultimately we all have the same end goal, the same destination. And as Christians, we're called to live in community. We weren't called to walk this journey alone. So if we're walking together on this journey, and love is what binds us together, as Emily said, and many of those people that we love are our friends, it would only make sense for us to walk this journey with our friends. And so that's why our topic tonight is friendship. So what does an ideal friendship look like? I think it would be appropriate to look at an ideal friendship and look at Jesus as a role model, because that's who we are supposed to live like every day. When Jesus began his public ministry, one of the first things he did was gather the 12 apostles. And he wasn't just gathering them as followers or to do his dirty work or to spread his message when he was gone. He gathered them because he wanted them as his friends, and he referred to them as his friends multiple times. For example, in John chapter 15, verse 15, he says, "No longer do I call you servants, but I have called you friends." Jesus also had friendships outside of the apostles. For example, Lazarus. He had a very beautiful, deep friendship with Lazarus, and when he found out that Lazarus was no longer living, he wept for him. He also had a deep relationship with Mary Magdalene and Martha. Jesus was friends with all kinds of people. Like I said, the apostles, Lazarus, Zacchaeus was a tax collector, Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, and he was friends with both the rich and the poor. But the cool thing is, he didn't just take them on as a project. He treated them as equals. Jesus very much valued the idea of friendship, and he illustrates this by saying in John chapter 15, verse 13, "Greater love has no one than this, that one lay down his life for a friend." Jesus took his words very seriously because what does he do later? He literally lays down his life for his friends. So obviously Jesus thought friendship was pretty important. So if we're looking for a model for ideal friendship, I think Jesus is a pretty good place to start. A couple of weeks ago, I went on the women's retreat. And on this retreat, a very wise man or woman, I can't remember if it was you, David, or Jenna that said this, but they proposed 3 questions that we should ask about our friends. Do they help you see the good in yourself? Do they help you see the good in others? And do they help you see the good in God? So the first question, do they help you see the good in yourself? Friendships should build you up. They should make you feel loved by God and realize everything that is good about yourself so you can better serve God and others. First semester, I received a letter from my friend Sarah. And in it, she talked about the history of our friendship and why she wanted to become friends with me in the first place and everything that she thought that God had given me as gifts and talents. And at that point, I was feeling insecure about certain aspects about myself, and she just reaffirmed myself, and I was better able to serve God in this community and the community of Mizzou because I received that letter. Friends should make it easier to believe that we are loved by God, and they should know our strengths. They know our strengths and weaknesses, and they know our failings, but they love us anyways. The second question, do they help you see the good in others? Friends should allow you to get closer to other people, not pull you away from other people. And how they interact with and treat other people is a reflection of who they are as a person. And we should take that into consideration when choosing our friends. And the third question, do they help you see the good in God? Friends should allow us to look at the world around us and see everything that is good in God so we can ultimately further ourselves on this faith journey. They shouldn't pull us away from our faith journeys. So keep these questions in mind when you're thinking about your friends, and especially as I move on with the rest of my talk. Friendship should also help us better ourselves. We should become close enough with our friends to share our deepest thoughts. I want you to think about something that you've shared with only a few people outside of your family, whether it be your deepest thoughts, your dreams, your struggles, or your failings. And these people that you're thinking of right now are probably your best friends. Friendship is nourished by confidences, and the fact that we can confide in each other these personal things is truly powerful. So once we become close enough to people that we can share these things, we can use each other to become better people. We should be open to suggestions and criticisms from our friends. And friends should do more than just encourage us, they should challenge us. They should be honest if we are heading in the wrong direction, and we should be honest with our friends if we think they are heading in the wrong direction. And we should accept these criticisms and suggestions because if they are our friends, we know that they're speaking out of love for us. In Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17, it states, "As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another." As I said before, we have a goal on this journey. And if we love our friends, we are willing the good of them, correct? We can do this by accepting and giving criticisms so that we can all reach our end goal, which ultimately should be heaven. Finally, friends should also inspire us to continue on this journey. One thing I like about college is I have friends with all sorts of interests and majors and hobbies. These small differences allow me to learn about myself more and about the world around me. Friends can inspire us academically, in our careers, in our hobbies, and in our interests. But most often, friends can inspire us and challenge us by being a good example themselves. My friends most inspire me when I see them dealing with stress or problems or difficulties, and I am therefore inspired to face my own challenges with greater courage. So I've thought a lot about friendship this year, and that's why I'm in front of you today. I'm going to use a lot of my own experiences to illustrate my view on friendship. As an incoming freshman, I think how you're going to make friends or who your friends are going to be in college is kind of a big topic. It's kind of a big deal. And it's different degrees of uncomfortableness. Some people are more apt at making friends than others, and some people go into college knowing more people than others. But ultimately, I think it is still a big topic that people worry about. And personally, I had a really good support system at home. It was hard to say goodbye to my friends, but I was excited to come to Mizzou. One of the reasons why I chose to come here is because only 2 people from my graduating class in high school came here. I wanted to start on my own path and meet new people and face new adventures. So once I got here, I immediately became close to a group of people. And they were different than my group of high school friends, but they were still fun and accepting. They were dedicated to their schoolwork, and I was having a blast for those first few months. And then I went on Awakenings. And Awakenings is a retreat that the Newman Center puts on every fall, and you guys should, well, now in the spring as well, and you guys should all consider going if you haven't, because it was pretty fantastic. I would say that it was one of the best decisions that I've made here thus far at college. And there are multiple good things that came out of it, but I'm only going to focus on one today. I honestly think that I met some of my best friends here on Awakenings. I remember one night we were sitting around the bonfire singing and talking and laughing, telling stories, and it reminded me of a quote by C.S. Lewis that says, "Is any pleasure as great as a circle of Christian friends around a good fire?" Awakenings got me, another thing that Awakenings did for me is it got me involved in the Newman Center, and I was able to meet more awesome people through this experience. And I felt this deep connection to a lot of people here, and I felt truly fulfilled. And I realized for the first time that something was missing before in my first group of friends. And I want to emphasize that these friendships weren't unhealthy before, and I still hang out with these people, and I still love them. I didn't drop my friendships once I made new ones, but I realized that these friendships didn't have the depth that my heart was yearning for. I had finally made some solid spiritual friends. In Sirach, chapter 6, verse 14, it says, "A faithful friendship is a sturdy shelter. He who has found one has found a treasure." Spiritual friendships give a glimpse into God's love for us. And I think this explains that feel-good feeling we get when we make these spiritual friendships, or you think about your best friends. I also want to emphasize that our spiritual friendships don't have to be with people who are Catholic. For example, my roommate Megan is not Catholic, but yet I still feel like we have a very good spiritual friendship. Although we may be of different religions, we still have some similarities that really, I think, bind us together spiritually and enhance our friendship. And also, one of my best friends from high school wasn't Catholic as well. So I noticed this difference between my first group of friends and my spiritual friends that I met here at the Newman Center. And what did I do about it? I realized that we are called to be friends to different people in different ways. I have a wide variety of friends here at college, and I'm sure many of you in this room can relate to this. I have friends from my classes, from my dorm, from this church, friends that go to a different church, or friends that don't go to church at all. And what we need to do is we kind of need to sort out our friendships and figure out what role each of them will play in our lives. And sometimes they will overlap, and sometimes they won't. There's a particular person that I became close to here at college, and he lives on my floor. And he doesn't always make choices that I agree with, but I realize that I'm not going to change him or fix him. That's not a friendship. But I have become a constant source of love and support for him. And after I decided to do this and had been doing it for a couple weeks, he told me one day, "Madeline, you're the first nice Catholic I've ever met. I've learned that I don't hate Catholics, I've just met a lot of Catholics that don't practice what they preach." So I think we both get something from this relationship. He's able to accept the love from someone who he would have never thought that he would have given love from. And I'm able to grow in the process of helping him grow. And actually, this kind of relates. My roommate Megan and I were eating dinner at good old Plaza 900 tonight, and she found this fortune in her fortune cookie, and it said, "Helping a friend is like helping yourself." So obviously what I just said is true because it was in a fortune cookie. Anyway, we're all created in God's image, and we're called to love all people. And when we learn to see the good in each and every person, we're doing what God has called us to do, and we're following in the footsteps of Christ. And ultimately, it will help us on our faith journey. Another thing I've learned is that there's a difference between friendship and love of a neighbor. Yes, we are called to embrace everyone, even those who do not return our love, and even our enemies. However, friendship requires reciprocity. A friend is someone who corresponds to your love. So it's not a one-way relationship, it's reciprocal. It needs to be flowing both ways. There's a relationship in high school that kind of is an example of this concept. You know how in dating when they tell you you're not supposed to pour your whole heart out on the first date, you're supposed to hold some things back and establish trust first in order to guard ourselves from broken hearts? Well, I've definitely had my heart broken once, and it wasn't by a boy. It was someone who I thought was my friend. I've been told that one of my best qualities is that I'm loyal as a dog. And I put everything I have into my friendships, and that's definitely what I did with this girl. However, she wasn't doing the same. And I was hurt and upset and unhappy, and this ultimately pulled me away from my faith journey, and that's not a good thing. I should have gone about this relationship with caution before I poured every ounce of my being into it. And it took some time, but I eventually had to let the friendship go. And in order to heal my broken heart and let go of my bitterness, I started praying for her. Because I know that we are called to love people even if they do not return our love. So maybe I wasn't her friend anymore, but I still loved her as a person of God. So when we have, I'm sure many of you have been betrayed by someone or had a friendship that didn't work out, but these don't have to be a negative thing on our faith journey. We can use these experiences to grow. And I've learned a lot from a lot of the friendships I have, whether they worked out or not. And I learned a lot from all the different friendships I have. And we just need to make sure that we are continuing to move forward on our journey and use it for future friendships and experiences. So in conclusion, I've talked about what an ideal friendship and what it should look like. And I want to re-emphasize that we don't have to go out and make all new friends. If your friendships don't necessarily look like what I described as the ideal friendship, I challenge you to recognize the good friendships that you have and know why these friendships are fulfilling. Figure out how different friendships can play different roles in your life and how you can nourish and better the friendships that you have right now. Also, how can you be a better friend? Because friendship does require reciprocity. Ultimately, we are all walking on this journey together, and we're all striving to reach our final destination. So why not we walk this journey with our friends so we can reach our final destination, which is heaven.